We often think that we need to take massive actions to bring about great changes in our life, and when we do, habit change is the most obvious tool we imagine. But when it comes to changing our habits, we often overemphasize the importance of big moves and fail to recognize small and incremental changes that we can actually make on a day to day basis. We don't have to reinvent something grand, or we don't have to be extraordinary to make changes to our habits for good. Hey guys, welcome back to this new video. In this video, we're going to summarize key ideas from this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book is very insightful on how we can get rid of the unwanted habits, how we can form new habits. Once we understand the simple concept behind this book, it's applicable to all areas of our life, like healthy eating, exercising, learning new skills, and anything you can imagine. Also, this book is very insightful on why we struggle and how to overcome those obstacles when it comes to changing our habits. I have tried to break down this book into 6 key ideas so that you'll find it easier to digest the content for your benefit. So let's have a look into these 6 ideas one by one. The first idea is tiny changes, remarkable results. As the title suggests, massive results don't need massive steps and sacrifices. For example, starting to go for a walk for at least 15 minutes a day will not seem to have any visible impact in the short run, but repeated consistently, you will end up a healthier and a leaner person in a year's time. Similarly, eating pizza once in a while barely has any impact on your health, but repeat this behavior as your favorite snack over a month and you will start to see how badly it starts impacting your health. The second idea in this book is the 1% rule, where James Clear talks about the power of compounding. Let's say you start to invest in the stock market with few $100s. For months, it does not seem to be of any major value. But imagine you are putting few $100s every month since your childhood, topping up your portfolio with few more on your birthdays. Few years later, the portfolio would be a significant figure. James puts a mathematical calculation that if we improve 1% each day for the next 365 days, we'll end up being 37 times better than our previous starting point. I can relate this idea when I first started meditating 3 years back. For months, I was not able to see any visible changes, and I was expecting something visible to happen. And at times, I felt like quitting it because it was kind of boring and nothing was changing and nothing was improving. But later on, I realized that although I was not getting something visible which I expected in the beginning, I was able to better focus on my work. This idea of incremental changes is really powerful when it comes to forming new habits. The third idea in this book is ditch goal settings and focus on systems. James puts emphasis on building stronger systems rather than focusing on the goals. If you have goals but don't have system to back them up, then it will often lead to frustrations and you won't be able to make desired changes to your habits. Let's say you want to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. Your focus should be on when you take the last cup of your coffee, when you take dinner, when you stop scrolling your mobile screen at night time, and when you go to bed. That will ultimately make sure that you will be able to wake up at 5. James also puts emphasis that losers and winners have the same goal, but the system they have in place determines who will win the game. Also, the problem with goal setting is that there is an implied assumption that I'll be happy when I attain this goal. So once we are there, we run for next milestone to drive our happiness. The key idea is to make a system and keep playing the game rather than winning the game and looking for what to win next. The fourth idea in this book is shifting our identity. Habits change occur as a result of changing in identity. Maxwell Maltz in his book Psycho-Cybernetics has explained the concept of self-image in detail. Lasting changes are possible through radical shift in our image of who we are. So if you have a goal of exercising daily, your self-image should be of a person who is healthy, lean, and who is committed to one's health. I will explore this in depth on the self-image psychology in a separate episode, but as James puts it, the result-based approach to habit change is not long-lasting. I can relate this idea when I first decided to stop sugar from my diet. I was sometimes leaving sugar altogether, sometimes I was stopping for a few months and then craved and starting again. But I realized that the moment I started to see myself as a person who is committed to personal development, started reading books on the subject, leaving sugar was effortless, and this was contrary to my belief of being a physically and mentally healthy person, constantly striving to get better every day. Actively searching for self help books, meditating and exercising daily, and craving for sweets were two conflicting ideas, and the former overpowered the latter. The fifth idea in this book is the habit loop. James explains how habits are formed and how they are sustained over a period of time. He explains the habit loop in terms of cue, craving, response, and reward cycle. For example, a smell from bakery shop could be your cue. You feeling tempted for the bite of cake is your craving. In response, you go to the shop and grab a piece, and the reward is feeling of sweetness. When you repeat this over and over again, you establish a junk food habit. Recall all of your habits are formed more or less the same way. The sixth idea in this book is stages of habit formation and the four laws of behavior change. The first law of behavior change is make it obvious. Habits are easier to nurture when a cue is obvious, and we can make simple changes to our environment to make it obvious. James gives examples of supermarket checkout locations where the chocolates and chips are deliberately placed so that anyone would add a few pieces when they would not have bought otherwise. So, if you are struggling to eat healthy, keep your fruit basket right next to your dinner table instead of putting them inside the fridge. The simple act of making a small change in the environment and location will have a huge impact on a needed behavior to get repeated. The second law of behavior change is make it attractive. We tend to repeat those behaviors which we find attractive. Attractive cue will drive the bunch of neurochemicals, including dopamine, that keeps us repeating the desired habit. I have found that listening to audiobooks on my phone while jogging made jogging far more attractive for me. All of the books I have listened to are during my morning walk. So now, when I finish a book, I keep looking for my next listen. I do this not only for reading but also for my jogging. Making it attractive made sure that I continued with my desired habit. The third law of behavior change is make it easy. We as humans try to repeat those behaviors that we find easier to do. Making it easy means reducing friction. We can use this rule not only to establish desired habits but also to get rid of the unwanted ones. For example, if you wish to remove your social media addiction, make sure that you make the browsing difficult. Log out of the app once you have used it or disable face logins. That will make it less easier for you to have instant access. And the fourth law of behavior change is make it satisfying. We tend to repeat those behaviors that give us immediate satisfaction rather than delayed result. Let's take example of smoking. We all know that smoking causes cancer, but we tend to repeat the smoking behavior because of the small rush of nicotine that we get instantly. So these were the key ideas from this book, Atomic Habits, and if you are struggling to make changes to your habit for good, you can implement the simple concepts mentioned in this book. I'll be coming up with similar videos in the future on book reviews, personal development and productivity. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.